everybody, and welcome to our people watching online. We're really delighted that we're together on such a beautiful evening and for such an important cause. So thank you for your generosity. Thank you for supporting this ministry, for really incarnating the love of God to our neighbor here. It's now time for me to bring David Wolf on, our executive director. So David, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Andrew and I have known each other for many years, and it's so great to have you here as our MC as we celebrate our partnership. I'll be brief because I want you to bid, and I want you to bid big. There you go. The proof of the Next Step program's impact is in the people. So in between bids, I realize this thing is got wheels on it. Holy cow. In between bids, over the next 50 minutes, so pardon my elbows here, you'll hear the impact through the experience of Karen Ringo, a compassionate Samaritan, Ben Morgan, a high-achieving Next Step participant, and St. Columba's Episcopal Church, an outstanding partner, all of which reveals different aspects of our work, and it's what you're supporting tonight. The theme of the 2022 Gala is simple but powerful, equipping for change. Following our original recipe known as Next Step, Samaritan's central focus remains empowering program participants to be the change that they want to be and that they want to see in themselves and in the world through our life-changing casework, coaching, and training. But there's more happening now, and much more, let me tell you. Since the pandemic began, Samaritan has done more than adapt. We've been experimenting and innovating in this digitally dependent world so that our focus is not just on empowering, but also equipping participants for change. Hence the theme, equipping for change for our gala. And equipping them, I hasten to add, where they are, not just in our offices, but in their homes and in their offices and anywhere they're taking next steps. So let me illustrate so you know what you're supporting tonight. And I hasten to add that what I'm about to share is not the only way we're equipping participants for change, but it is an illustration of how we're innovating and what our thinking is. So, since 2020, we've been loaning laptops and tablets to participants. At first, just so those participating in our virtual Strive employment readiness training could participate in that. So when Strive participants finished the training, they turned in the laptop or tablet that we loaned them, unless they had secured a job and wanted the laptop in lieu of a stipend. But otherwise, they had to turn it in. Now, at first, this made a whole lot of sense until it didn't. It's the way these things go. They're iterative, right? Here was the original light bulb moment. For most of the past 3 years, we have seen most participants on Zoom or outdoors. Frankly, we've seen very few on Zoom and mostly outdoors, even through the winter. But most of our participants are digitally challenged, or were before they started working with us, and most do not have a desktop computer, never mind a laptop. They likely have an iPhone, but you can't really do training or a resume or a job interview very well on an iPhone. And it's not the professional norm to do so, even if you can. For those of you that are sitting there thinking, oh, I do it, I can do it. Yeah, no. It's not the professional norm. So we thought, wouldn't it be ideal if we could give participants laptops, not just for Strive training, but for everything, and most especially so that they could be empowered and equipped to do the work we're teaching them to do where they are after they leave the office. Following me? Okay. I mean, the whole idea behind goal setting in Next Step is a process of empowerment, which means we're teaching a process, not just providing services on site. So participants must keep coming back to use our stuff. But participants don't need to use our stuff if they have their own, right? And which is what we should be aiming for, isn't it? Amen? Can I get amen? That is, if we're empowering and equipping them, if that's what we're really all about, then that's what we should be aiming for, that kind of independence. Now, an important caveat, we want participants to come back to our offices regularly, but primarily to engage with their caseworker coaches one-on-one, in person, because, hear me clearly, there is no real substitute for that live, in the flesh, in-person engagement. Can I get another amen? Yeah, it's also true that we have lots of in-kind stuff that they need, clothing, toiletries, and metro cars to sustain them transportation-wise, just to name a few, all in addition to meeting with their caseworker in person, right? But I'm glad we've got Zoom and Microsoft Teams and live streaming and all the rest, because our participants need to be literate in that digital world. It's a different age. We've got tools. We've got traffic. We've always had traffic. We've got kids and sickness, all sorts of obstacles that might demand that participants communicate with their caseworker or a potential employer from home on their laptop instead of showing up in person. Amen? But these are not substitutes for the relational face-to-face engagement for which we're known and our participants rightly expect. So it was that almost 2 years into the pandemic, a second light bulb went off for us, which we now call the Loan to Own initiative, where we eventually will equip all active participants with a laptop that they do not have to purchase, that we give them, first as a loaner, and then as one they own by achieving their first goal with us in the Next Step program. Now, with limited corporate help and grant funds, we got some kind of a fleet off the ground this year, but it's a heavy lift, and we're not there yet, so that's why we're asking you for help. But hear me clearly, this is just one illustration. I trust you're clear that laptops are not the only thing you're supporting tonight. Indeed, there's so much more to share, like the potential integration of the adult education work of Southeast Ministry, another nonprofit, into ours over the next month, yes, by December 1st. Welcome, Southeast Ministry, folks. Raise your hands. There's a few of you here. Just raise your hands if you're from Southeast Ministry. Somewhere. They were here. I met them outside. And a blossoming partnership with our colleagues at Bite Back. Welcome, Bite Back. Raise your hands. We got a few over here. So all that's going on. There's all sorts of innovative stuff that is reinventing Next Step, if you will, in this digitally dependent environment. So thank you for listening. Let me hand it over now to Jeff Hale.
Thank you, David. Good evening. How's everyone doing? Everyone get some good food, decent beverages? Everyone bid lots? Okay. The silent auction was really nice. Lots of baskets. Thank you to all of our partners for all of your hard work in putting those baskets together. There were some fantastic items out there. And the silent auction is a lot of fun. But we're getting ready to hit the part where we really make hay with this gala, and that's the live auction. The baskets are nice, but the things that you're going to be bidding on in the next 45 minutes are the things that really move the needle for this organization and for our participants. And deep down, I know that's the large reason why most of you are here tonight. So I've got one basic instruction. As we're going along, Mr. McMillan is going to come out here every once in a while, and he's going to talk about what $250 will do, what $500 will do, what $1,000 will do. Please pay attention to him. When you get inspired, all you need to do is text the word Gala to the following number, 202-933-1920. Again, you can pull out your phones now and start the text, 202-933-1920. You put in that, it'll ask for your name, it'll take you to our donation page. When you make that gift, your name will be joined with everyone else up here. So these are some early folks who got on board with us, including some of our corporate sponsors. Thank you to IPA, Meta, and Mortgage Bankers Association. I would like, when we finish up this program at 8 o'clock, for this scroll to just go and go and go. And I would like to have to wait 2 minutes before the first name repeats again. But I need all of you in here to do that. So again, that's text Gala to 202-933-1920. That's for everyone in this room. This is for all of our friends out there in the virtual world who are watching the live stream. That's the most important way that you can support us tonight. Thank you, and I'm going to turn it over now to Mr. McMillan. Thanks, John.
Sounds so old, Mr. McMillan. So, again, I want to welcome all of you to St. Andrews. On behalf of St. Andrews, we are thrilled to have you here. I'm a math teacher here. I've been here for a long time, so if you know families who have sent their kids here, I probably know them. One thing, I'm going to go off script for just a second. David came to our chapel a couple of weeks ago. We have chapel every week here, and David came and spoke about the work at Samaritan, and he brought Antoinette Green with her. And you could hear a pin drop while Antoinette talked. It was silent. And especially when she showed a picture of her young son and talked about how his dad had died, it was even more quiet than it was before. So our kids really registered with what this organization is doing, and we currently actually have a gift card drive going on here at school for the Thanksgiving season. So again, on behalf of the school, we are super, super happy to have you here tonight. So, this part is like the everybody wins part. Everybody gets a trophy in this part, okay? Because this is a bidding part where you're not competing with anybody, right? You win automatically. As soon as you bid, you win, right? So the first level we're going to start at is $250. So for a $250 gift, right? Again, that number is 202-933-1920. So $250. Jeff, you got to help me out a little bit. $250. What?
$250 will cover Smart Trip direct transportation costs for one of our participants for an entire year. And that can include Smart Trip if they need Metro, but should we have a spike in COVID numbers, that could also include Uber cards and much more reliable transportation as well.
So again, like I said, everybody gets a trophy, right? All you have to do is text to 202-933-1920. A $250 gift will provide a year of transportation for one of our participants. So please ask you. And again, here's the other thing. You can walk out with multiple trophies tonight. That's a pretty good deal, right? You could bid multiple times and get multiple trophies. So there you go. There you go. So again, I encourage you, we're looking for new names up here on the board. You can see as we scroll through, some new names are going to start popping up. I hope to see your name up there. I'm going to turn it back over to David Wolf.
Thank you. Thank you, John. So while you're bidding, we want to recognize an outstanding partner, namely St. Columba's Episcopal Church. So I want to invite Annie Hammond, who's one of 2 partner reps. Joe Kohler has COVID, regrettably, but is watching the live stream. Come on up, Annie. Deacon David Griswold, and I'm aware that there are other St. Columbans in the house. So just come on up, stand up here as we present this award. I'm going to present it. Outstanding. So come on over. You don't want to block the screen, so just cluster around me, if you will. So St. Columba's Episcopal Church is in the Tenleytown neighborhood of Northwest Washington, and is one of the original 12 founding partner parishes of Samaritan Ministry. But St. C's is not one to rest on its laurels. Indeed, it's a leader in our sea of partner institutions that now numbers over 60, if you didn't hear that before. For one, they have a history of finding engaged, energetic partner reps who wear not one, but several hats. Current reps Annie Hammond and Joe Kohler are no exceptions. Joe, the more senior of the 2, has served as partner rep for over 7 years, as well as development committee chair, board vice president, and presently board president. And he's not the only board president to hail from St. Steve's. And Annie, fittingly, where's Annie? Is a newer rep. There's a lot of you here. That's great. Fittingly is a newer rep learning from Joe. And together they hosted a virtual watch party at last year's Next Step breakfast to rival any in-person party. Let me tell you, one that continued after the event ended. So just imagine that. When have you wanted to remain online after the event ended? But that says a lot. Among the highlights that make St. C's an outstanding partner are 2 key annual events that are magnets for folks even outside their parish. Both have been part of Samaritan's annual Empower Our Neighbors in Need campaign, otherwise known as ENN. The first, a Samaritan benefit concert in their sanctuary, has featured outstanding local and classical talent, both soloists and groups, such as the string quartet from the National Philharmonic and the Robert Giles and Grace Gospel Group. The second and more recent is an annual ENN community walk down Wisconsin Avenue that they host, I stress, in the heart of the summer, or so it feels, with a motorcycle-driven police escort, peaceful chanting, and a regular bagpiper. The walk turns out folk from St. C's, but also from Washington National Cathedral and St. Albans Episcopal Church, St. C's ecclesiastical colleagues down Wisconsin, and the point of the walk's conclusion. So over the years and presently, St. C's contributes much of its time, talent, and treasure, hosting a disproportionate number of partner council meetings and producing a disproportionate number of program volunteers serving as front office coordinators, caseworkers, and other critical roles in the organization. We hasten to add that St. C's is a leader in hosting challenging conversations focused on social policy concerns in which Samaritan plays a part, such as the socioeconomic segregation of Greater Washington, the regional wealth gap, the affordable housing crisis, and the epidemic of gun violence in the region. I'm privileged to recognize this award to St. Columba's Episcopal Church as an outstanding partner parish.
let me get my notes out here that Joe so nicely helped me put together. I'm so sorry that he couldn't be here today. Hi, Joe. I'm sure you're watching online. Thank you, David. St. Columba's has, from the very beginning, been 100% invested in the mission of Samaritan, and we are so pleased to be recognized for our continuing engagement this evening. Joe and I and others from St. Columba's who currently serve or in recent past have served as volunteers, partner reps, or are on the board are continuing in the steps of a long line of other Columbans. People like Dick Dowd, Phil Graham, and Tom Bowder, who have contributed greatly to Samaritan's success over the years. Our clergy and staff at St. C's also have been immensely supportive of our efforts with Samaritan, as David said, with hosting concerts, events like the Walk, watch parties, and forums at the church to raise awareness of our work with participants. And thank you, David, for being here tonight. Kudos also goes to Samaritan's leadership and staff, both paid and unpaid, who coordinate all of our partner parishes' engagement so seamlessly and give us great encouragement. And finally, the whole effort points to and supports our work with our participants, those living on the margins of poverty in society, who we strive to support and who teach us so much in an enterprise of mutual liberation where we help each other grow. On behalf of all of us at St. Columba's, thank you very much.
I think I'm handing it back to John. Is that right?
It's trophy time. $500. $500 provides fresh, healthy food for 5 participants at least 4 times per year. Once again, the phone number is 202-933-1920. If you text Gala to that number, it will again take you to a page where you can make a donation of $500, which would again provide fresh food for 5 participants for at least 4 times per year. So once again, opportunity for another trophy. And with that, I will give it back to David for the Compassionate Samaritan Award.
All right. So I want to invite up Karen Ringo, the recipient of this award, and Jack Orick, Melissa from Allison from Compass, right? I wrote that down wrong. And Ken. Where's Ken? There you are, Ken. Come on up. Ken Harris. Give it up for Ken Harris. He's the most senior member of the Speakers Bureau, and he now lives in his native Hampton Roads, Virginia, thanks to Karen and the team. So here we go. Our Compassionate Samaritan Award honors the legacy of Bishop Jane Dixon and is presented annually at our gala to honor someone who has rendered extraordinary service on behalf of the organization, and in this case, a particular participant. The person embodies our core values of rigorous compassion, transformation through mutual empowerment, respect for the dignity of every human being, and the collaborative work of ministry and partnership. Now, while most of us have not known Karen Ringo for long, and maybe most of you don't know Karen at all, her extraordinary service on behalf of participant Ken Harris is all we needed to know to bestow on her this honor. Karen, a realtor for Compass Realty, assisted Ken in the selling of his original Habitat home, which he purchased with the help of Samaritan Ministry in Ivy City in Northeast DC at the end of July, a process that took nearly 6 months to sell the home. You know what the market's like right now. As I later discovered, Karen was asked by her neighbor, Jack Orick, which I didn't know until fairly recently. Jack is our pro bono legal counsel who was already assisting Ken with the legal side of this transaction, which is exceptional in itself. But Karen's arm didn't need to be twisted at all. She was, as I experienced it, all in from the start, which turned out to be a lot more, I'm sure, than she bargained for. Ken, a longtime participant who was once homeless in Silver Spring, you told me, before I knew you, yeah. Secured a Habitat home with our support, like I said, in 2012. You may recall him waving his keys at a gala, it was over 5 years ago. I didn't look up the year. And that was one of really his proud accomplishments, and indeed it still is. But Ken fell on hard times in this pandemic and has been unemployed since the beginning of the pandemic and was suffering from multiple physical and mental ailments that were going untreated as well. He reconnected with us at the start of this year, reaching out to me to say that he was stuck, but he subsequently got the whole team involved in his support. And on one level, all Ken needed, as we said over and over again about our work, is a hand up, just like that man in the ditch on the side of the road, the Jericho Road. He wanted to sell his home so he could move back to his native Hampton Roads, Virginia, to be with extended family and notably his grandchildren. But with Karen, we quickly learned that Ken was in a hole in terms of just about everything. Thankfully, Ken had benefited from the various pandemic moratoria that were still in effect through the early part of this year, including the fact that his home did not go into foreclosure before Karen got it on the market, and she got it on the market pretty quickly. Karen was exceptional, not just in what she did, but in how she worked. Her patience, understanding, competence, and commitment to Ken's cause was extraordinary and reflects positively on Compass Realty for what this kind of work represents, namely serving the underserved in our community. Logistically, it was far from clear whether Ken and we as a team could get this done, even with Karen's help. But Karen made it happen, serving unofficially as our team leader, a team that included Jennifer Seeger-Valentine, our program director, by the way, because there was all sorts of, Jennifer, where are you? Maybe she's out there. Karen stayed in direct, ongoing communication with Ken, as did I, popping in to see him even when his phone was completely cut off. We would barge in on you, right? When the sale finally went through on July 29th of this year, Karen was a catalyst in celebrating this victory with Ken at his Ivy City home. Now, Ken didn't want us to celebrate him and celebrate it, but we insisted. And Karen came bearing gifts, including a scrumptious cheesecake. Did I get that right? It was a cheesecake. It was Ken's favorite. She knew that. And a premier coffee maker that she also knew he needed. So it is my privilege to present the 2022 Compassionate Samaritan Award to Karen Ringo.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Samaritan Ministry, and thank you, Ken and Jack. When I met Ken, I think we hit it off from the very beginning. One thing is when you're going through a tricky, complicated transaction is you have to have trust. And Ken, I felt like he trusted me right away, which is what we really needed. And I made him a promise from the very beginning that I was going to sell his house. It wasn't, I never doubted it for one moment, but I think we had bumpy roads and we had moments where Ken maybe wanted to just give it up and walk away, but he stayed in, and I said, as long as you stay with me, we're gonna sell this house. And he did, and we did. So good job, Ken, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen, and congratulations. Yeah. Okay, John?
So the next levels that are available are the $1,000 and $2,000 levels. The $1,000 level will provide a full digital literacy training course for a participant, which, again, as David has talked about, in the laptop age is hugely important to help make availability for interviews, writing resumes, things like that. A $2,000 contribution will provide a laptop for the one-to-one program for a next step participant. So once again, these are both amazing trophy opportunities for you. So the $1,000 again is for a full digital literacy course, and the $2,000 level will provide a laptop for a next step participant. So once again, I hope you will consider and join in bidding on one or even both of these levels. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you're bidding. I don't want you to be distracted, but it's unavoidable. So, Ben Morgan, would you? Yep.
202-933-1920. 202-933-1920.
Everybody get that? Let me pause. Jot it down. Text it, whatever. Okay. All right. Benjamin Timothy Morgan, please come on up. And is Jennifer Seeger back in the house? Okay. Would you grab her, Antoine? That'd be great. Thanks. Yeah. So, just as we recognized a compassionate Samaritan, now we want to recognize the achievement of an outstanding participant. And Ben is now a graduate of the program, and yet he has many miles yet to go and goals to complete, and that's because of the level of ambition, I would say. So, all right, now you got to listen and receive this acknowledgement, okay? So you got to stop pacing, okay? Jennifer, come on up. This is our program director. Give it up for Jennifer Seeger Valentine. And she would join us anyway, but some of the caseworkers that Ben has worked with are no longer with us, and they couldn't be here tonight anyway. And so just know that they're with us in spirit, Ben, okay? All right, so Benjamin Timothy Morgan, a.k.a. Ben, was born and bred in Philly. They seem to be in the news lately. Got a solid education in Catholic schools growing up, but growing up was rough going. In young adulthood, Ben lost two of his brothers, one to addiction and one to violence. This is part of Ben's testimony. Ben's a member of the Speakers Bureau, and so has regularly shared his story in presentations in partner churches and elsewhere. Ben, too, was impacted, getting addicted to opioids prescribed for pain he experienced from knee surgery, and that led to incarceration. Upon release, Ben came to the Washington area by way of a halfway house, which is how he heard about us, about Samaritan Ministry. And at Samaritan, he met and worked with legendary lead caseworker Annette Carver beginning in 2008. His progress in battling addiction, securing employment, and finding a home led to an invitation to be the speaker at our 2009 Next Step Breakfast. Having accomplished all his goals, Ben returned to Philly in 2010, or thereabouts, right? Yeah. But Ben was not done with himself or with us. He returned to us as a participant in 2019 to work on different goals, this time to further his aspirations for graduate education and a way to, in his words, put it all together. Now wait, did I mention that Ben had already put his story together in a book called The Lonely Pen, under the pen name Ben Shambhala? You can look it up, get it on Amazon. Yes, and when Ben returned in 2019, he gave us a signed copy, right? Returning was just like when I first came to Samaritan, Ben said. The people are good people who never looked down on me, but in fact lifted me up every time. Educationally, Ben originally thought he would put it all together through law. As a recovering lawyer, I appreciated that, but becoming a lawyer was a lifelong dream since he was a kid, and he had already completed one semester of the law school program at CUA. But Ben, more recently, had another instinct with a BA in psychology as an undergraduate and an interest in counseling, teaching, and working with young adults, which he discussed with Benja and Sophia, his caseworkers at the time. And then this was miraculous to me, as if it were a question begging for an answer. An opportunity to pursue a graduate fellowship in PhD in clinical psychology at UPenn came to him on recommendation of someone who heard him speak as part of the Samaritan Speakers Bureau at a partner parish, and we think it was St. John's Lafayette Square. Did I say that in March 2021, Ben became the only participant in our history to speak at 2 Next Step breakfasts? So he spoke at 2021 and made him the only one that had spoken twice. And not long ago, he told me that he had passed the GRE. All right. So where is Ben? Ben is employed. I haven't talked about his jobs because in some ways that's not his main gig. But he's also working on his application to UPenn. Well, I discovered today he's actually submitted the application. He's waiting for a few recommendations, including mine. Clearly, Ben's journey is not over. But it's equally clear that it's time we paused and recognized him for his outstanding achievement as an exemplary participant in the Next Step program. Ben, it's therefore my privilege to present this year's Outstanding Achievement Award to you, Benjamin Timothy Morgan.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. I didn't know I was getting a plaque today, so I'm just, it's the little things that matter to me in life. First of all, I want to thank God. I have to thank God because the journey that I've come on, y'all, he has to come first. David gave you a little bit about me, but I actually lost 4 brothers. I come from a huge family of 7, and there's only 3 of us left. My family was I'm going to tell y'all something about how Samaritan Ministries helped me, man, and how it's so important in my life and how much I want to give back to Samaritan Ministries. Now, I may have made a mistake because I told David this years ago. I said, David, anything I can do to give back? And he, my God, I should have never said that, huh? No, but he has used me, man, and God has used me. And a good minister told me a long time ago, your blessings are not your own. The things that you have, the things that were given to you, were meant for you to share and bless other people. But I personally want to thank you people. Most of you I don't even know. But anytime I get a chance to speak to people, good people like yourselves who want to donate and want to help this ministry out, I want to thank you. I want to really thank you, because a lot of times, man, you develop things, you have your career, you have your life, and you don't know who you're giving money to. You don't know where it's going. People all talk a good game. Let's be real about that. We don't know where our money's going, but I'm here to tell y'all, just like David said, man, it's not that you give to people in need. Because believe it or not, you can wind up there. I come from a good family. My mother was a nurse. My father was a steel worker. We went to Catholic school, private school. I was never hungry. I had a knee injury that led me to an opioid addiction, that led me to the streets, that led me to losing everything, that led me to sit back and say, how did this happen, Lord? But I learned, man, that when you turn yourself over to God and when you ask for help, sincerely ask for help, and when you're blessed enough to receive it from people that's not going to look down on you, oh my God, do you know how that feels? They're not judging me because I don't have clothes for the interview. They're not judging me because I don't have any food. I don't know how I don't have any food, but I don't have any. And, David is my friend today. He asked me for something. Okay, man, if I can do it, whatever you need, David. You know why? Because, not just him, everybody at Samaritan Ministries, man, they got a wealth of information. They got a wealth of this, and sometimes David gets corny on me, but I love him. It's all right. We're the same age. I love him, right? But I want to tell y'all something, man. I come from, like I said, it's hard coming from a big family, and you're used to your brothers. I have these dreams, right? And my brothers are still alive. Y'all know what it feels like to wake up to that? 4 brothers? It's tough. And God didn't tell me it was going to be easy. But I got myself together. I got clean. I'm not afraid to try. I'm not afraid to cry. I'm not afraid to pray. And I'm not afraid to keep asking for help, man. And I get it, man. I went to law school for a semester. It didn't work out because I did good academically. Couldn't afford it. I spoke at St. John's. Some beautiful person, alumni at Penn, heard me speak and share about my disappointments and how I was going to keep on moving. The next thing I know, I got a call and an email from Penn GSE talking about, we want you for our graduate education. And I was like, how much is it going to cost? Well, this is a fellowship, sir. We're going to pay you. I was like, okay. So, today I'm not using drugs. Today I'm not using alcohol. Today I'm praising the Lord. But today I still need help from David. David paid for that. That's where your money goes. David paid for my GRE. I said, David, it's $200-something, bro. I ain't got it. He said, Ben, you trying to do something positive in your life. Don't worry. He put Benja on me. Benja helped me get the Kaplan GRE. I studied it like nobody's business. And at 61 years old, having graduated college in 2003 in my 30s, and I busted it out. And I'm proud of that. I ain't bragging. That's all God. Look, I wish I had more time with you people because I know y'all tired. Y'all did a whole lot. And I'm so long-winded, I don't want to keep y'all. Y'all some beautiful people, man. And I just want to let y'all know that it's not in vain. When you help these people, David talked about digital literacy, virtual literacy. Yeah, there's people I work with all the time. You'd be surprised. It's not just literacy anymore. It's sad out there. We need help. And some people are afraid to ask for help. Because you know why? Because people are going to turn their nose down at them. People are going to say, well, hold on, wait right there. David never did that to me. And praise God for that. I came from a real bad situation, so I appreciate the goodness of people. And I appreciate the love in your heart. Keep spreading love and keep hanging in there. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Okay, John.
Sure, I'll follow that. That'd be easy. Ben, we need to talk, dude. Let me tell you. Following that. All right. At $2,500, a $2,500 gift can provide next step casework for 5 participants for 10 sessions each. That is the heart of what Samaritan does, the casework. There's coaching, problem solving, and counseling. An amazing, amazing gift. For $5,000, you could provide 1 Strive employment readiness training cohort, the full cost for an entire cohort. 15 to 25 Strive participants. It's an amazing, amazing gift. For $7,500, the word aspirational is in this description. For it directs next step participant expenses for 1 entire year. This could include things like transportation, living expenses, furniture, auto expenses, basically life. And what the heck? $10,000. There's no description on that line. But what the heck? $10,000. Let's go ahead and say it. If you would like to donate $10,000, maybe in that guy's name, right? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So I hope you'll join us this evening in contributing. Again, the phone number is 202-933-1920. So I hope you will consider and make a donation. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay. I think, is Jeff Hale here? And Jeff and Isaiah, you guys? I think we're pausing a little bit as people bid, but you're going to do the final pitch. Yeah, okay.
Technical difficulties, please stand by. So, hello again, Jeff Hale again, but what I really want to do now is introduce, I think people have seen me running around all night, but I really did not do any of this alone. In the past, we've been very blessed to have both Carol Coonrod and Michelle Lewis-Mazzotti as Gala co-chairs here at Samaritan Ministry, but I've been very privileged and honored and blessed this year to work with Isaiah Poole, here standing to my right. He's a great guy. He's a new board member this year. He really rolled up his sleeves. He dug in. He came to the tasting, which was very important. But he also helped with a lot of logistics and communications and planning. And we couldn't have done it without you, Isaiah. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I am not going to try to be a Ben. But one thing I will say, and this goes into the category of not asking permission, but asking forgiveness later. I'm looking at that thermometer, and I'm cold. I'm cold. We need some warmth on that thermometer. And I just spent a couple of seconds just to underscore some things that we've been saying all evening, which is that if you want a better community, if you want a better world, then those of us who have been blessed, in whatever ways we have been blessed, need to invest that blessing in the things that will empower people to be better people. This is what Equipping for Change is all about. And as we've been going through the gift levels, I've been thinking about folk who get a job, but they're not going to get paid for that new job they got for 3 or 4 weeks. So how on earth are they going to get to and from work every day unless they can go to Samaritan Ministry and get a Metro card? I'm thinking about folks who have nothing in their refrigerator. They're trying to do their best, but between the time they get that paycheck, they've got an empty refrigerator. So how are they going to function unless they have a place where they can have really good food to make them capable of doing that work? We've talked about laptops. That's the, you know, I know most of y'all in this room take access to computers for granted. But in the neighborhood I grew up in, that's huge. And I've seen folk try to navigate websites on mobile phones. I mean, you could barely navigate the Samaritan Ministry website on a mobile phone. So when we talk about, you know, these kinds of things, $250, $500, $1,000, I mean, those are big numbers in my book, but, you know, here's the deal. We need to make big bets in order to move big change in people's lives. Big bets mean big change. And God knows we need big change right now. So I hope that you will dig deep and let's make this happen for Samaritan Ministry and for the people who walk through these doors, who want a hand up, who want to make that next step.
And at this point, I believe I should be turning it back over to our MC, correct? Yes. Hey, I got that one right.
Thank you. I got the easy job because I just get to say thank you. And, you know, when all is said and done, learning to say thank you in all circumstances, whether it's good, bad, or on the way up or the way down, you know God's got our back. And God wants us to have each other's back. So let me just thank especially these sponsors, Independent Project Analysis, and the Mortgage Bankers Association, Meta, Jay Mallon Photo and Video, of course, St. Andrew's School. We're so grateful that they host here tonight. Thank you. Our nonprofit partner, Bite Back, obviously all those who are pushing that thermometer higher. I just also would just thank Mindy's Catering for helping us, Ruby Wilson, photographer, John, great auctioneering, really well done. And then just any volunteers who make this happen tonight, just stand up so we can just say thank you. All right. And then so grateful to Audrey Thurman for heading up the silent auction, to Isaiah. As I say, lots to be grateful for, including dessert that's on its way. So I'll give that back to Jeff, and we can see where we go from there.
Thank you, Andrew. So we're getting near the end of the program, and as Andrew said, we do have coffee and dessert out there. It's a little bit of change from some of the galas in year past. But please, if you want a basket, or even if you didn't, we certainly hope that you'll stand out there and enjoy each other's company for a little while longer. Help yourself to some dessert, to some coffee. There are actually some Go cups and some clamshell plastic containers if people want to take some things for the road. I had Isaiah up here with me a moment ago, and I want to ask him to come back up, and another person that I'd really like to have come up, please, if she'll do so, is I'd like to ask Audrey Thurman to please come up front. Please, come on up. She's being shy for those who can't see it behind the camera, but she's going to come up. Audrey, you know I didn't have this figured out a half hour ago. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. So actually, I already introduced Isaiah as my very competent and able and great co-chair for the gala. As she has in years past, I really want to thank Audrey Thurman, who was the silent auction co-chair. I think we may have had more baskets this year than at any other of our previous galas. And if I may, I just have a little something for you. Thank you both for all of your hard work and for all of your effort in making this a successful evening. And I know Andrew said it earlier, but for everyone on the staff and everyone who volunteered some of their time to help me make this a nice event for all of you. Thank you to everyone who pitched in and on the staff and volunteers to help make this great. Thank you so much. I wasn't done. While you're having dessert and coffee, the auction checkout table, which was earlier the auction help table, if any of you had to visit that, will be set up. There are 3 or 4 staff people there who are all ready to go, and so we're hoping that checkout will be fairly painless this year. But again, please make sure that you have dessert and coffee as well. And we wouldn't be able to really conclude the evening appropriately without also thanking Reverend Marrow for his remarkable work as MC tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you again to all of you for being here. This is why we do it. And we want you to know how much you mean to us as supporters and donors as part of the Samaritan family. We want you to know how much your donations impact people. I have to say, as a development director, I was talking to, I think it was Paul Boyle earlier. I've had a lot of fundraising jobs, and I have to say, Samaritan Ministry is probably the most philanthropic fundraising job I've ever had. You people are here because you want to make a difference and because you really want to help people. And it comes through. It comes across and it really translates. And it's a pleasure for me to be here and a pleasure for me to work on behalf of all of you. So again, thank you for being here tonight. Again, enjoy dessert and coffee. And we'll be out here as well if you have any other questions or final comments. Thanks again for being here.
Just give it up for Jeff Hale, our development director, who's the lead organizer for the whole event.
my beautiful